welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, India's largest platform for entrepreneurs. I'm Sunanda Jayasseelan. Anything that matters to you matters to us. We bring you the biggest expert voices, not just in India, but from across the globe to address your questions and your concerns. On our show tonight, first up, we're being joined by Ajay Thakur of the BSE SME. We're also in conversation with AM Finance. Our first interview on Leaders of Tomorrow Icons is Ajay Thakur of the BSE SME. I spoke with him previously to ask him his opinion on the slew of IPOs that we've been seeing in the market, valuations, what the way forward is looking like, why small businesses should look at the capital markets. This is part of our special series, India Unlocks, even as we continue looking at the IPOs and the gold rush on Dalal Street. Take a listen. The credit gap for MSMEs is increasing over the past 5 years in 2021, being pegged at 240 million. I want your comments on this. How do you see this panning out?
We have almost 63 million MSMEs in our country. And out of 63 million, let me tell you, 99% of these companies are into informal sector. They don't have, access to formal source of funding. So these are the reasons, why the credit gap has widened. Of course, these companies require funds, especially the companies where the turnover is below 2 crores, because they qualify under the macro definition.
Ajay, thank you so much for your time here on the show. Speaking of advice, what would you like to tell our viewers, Mr. Thakur?
MSMEs are the backbone of Indian economy, and all the stakeholders want that the MSMEs should grow further. Because they are the ones who can help in creating inclusive growth in the country and provide employment. As far as we are concerned, we will request the MSMEs to think of getting listed onto the stock exchange. We have very relaxed eligibility criteria, where we have got very relaxed compliance requirement. And I think that listing will help these companies in their exponential growth. And that's what I want to tell on this International MSME Day. You are very important as an MSME for all of us. We request you to please enjoy the benefits of getting listed onto the stock exchange.
Let's talk about the emergency credit guarantee scheme. I just want to go back to that as we're winding down today's interview. You did make a brief reference of that. A lot of experts we've been speaking with here on the Leaders of Tomorrow saying it's doing nothing. It's just kicking the can further down the road. How would you want to respond to that?
No, I think it's a great initiative. See, RBI takes action depending upon the prevailing situation. And I'm quite sure that at that point of time, if the situation will become worse, or if the situation will be good, or whatever it may be, they will assess the situation at that point of time, and accordingly they will take the action. So as of now, I think RBI and the government has taken good initiative by extending this ECLGS scheme till September 30, 2021. And besides that, they have taken a lot of measures. If you see the, even they are doing a special 3 years long-term repo operations for, small banks, so that they can give loan to, the small companies, the macro companies. And it is to the tune of 10,000 crore rupees. Besides that, on-tap loan facility of 50,000 crore rupees for the COVID-related infrastructures, medicines, and all other facilities. 15,000 crore rupees for those companies which have been impacted a lot because of COVID. I think host of measures have been taken by both Reserve Bank of India and Government of India all these are available till September 30, 2021. I am quite sure that if situation get worse or something bad will be there, again government and RBI will take measures according to the prevailing situation.
Very quickly, my last question, and this is as far as NPAs are concerned. I just want to read out some data points. It's suggested that the gross NPA of banks likely to decline in FY21. And we could look at a lot of write-offs, etc. So my question to you, sir, is, even as we are perhaps looking at the impact of schemes, restructuring schemes, etc., having an impact and playing its part. What would you have to say? Because it's also being suggested we could see a 60% increase almost in MSME bad loans going forward. So what is your suggestion?
So in last 1 year, we have seen the gross NPA coming down. And let me tell you, last year, the situation was bad than what we are seeing today. It was worst because we have 6 months of strictest lockdown. But this time it was mini lockdown. And in fact, some of the companies were working with limited capacity, though we know that MSMEs got impacted a lot. But let me tell you, this loan restructuring has been extended once again. And again, ECLGS, we are seeing that has been extended till September 30, 2021. And giving the loan to this MSMEs are going to be treated as priority lending both by small banks and the NBFC. This will create lesser stress. Besides that, if you see over the years, the banks have been writing off the loans. So all the and not only that, we are expecting that this year the slippages will be lesser than earlier years. So my view is that NPS will not move at a higher pace this year. It will maybe little bit, 50, 75 points, basis points here and there. But I don't think that the NPA is going to move up. Besides that, government is talking about national ARC institution. Okay, and if that will happen, and if these risky assets start moving to that company, you will see the NPA coming down more, and it may come down to, I think, 6.2 to 6.25%.
I'm looking at listing figures for 2020-21. This is, of course, on the mainframe. It was around 146. This is in line with what it was in the previous year at about 147. My question is, one would have presumed that economic activity, given that at least in the first wave, things had come to a standstill, manufacturing companies were not allowed to operate plants, offices, nothing was allowed to operate, would have seen perhaps some sort of, shying away really from the primary market action. Clearly, that's not been the case. How do you read this data? And also, can you give us the corresponding figures when it comes to the BSE SME?
So there are two parts in your question. One is about large board and another is about the SME board. As far as large board is concerned, this year we can't compare with the financial year 19. The reason being is that the first 6 months it was a strict lockdown, and all the action started post, third quarter. So if you just compare with the 6 months with the other financial year in the past, I think this year has been extraordinary, very good. In fact, the funds raised was much more than the previous year. And on the SME platform also, though we have not seen a lot of companies getting listed, but still all together, both the stock exchanges together, we have seen almost 21 companies getting listed and they have raised almost 160 crores. Besides that, we have also started the startup platform where we have seen almost 8 startups getting listed and they have raised almost 25 crore rupees from the market.
I'm going to slip into a short break. When we come back, A-Finance in conversation with us here on the hot seat. Back in just a moment. Welcome back. You're with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow. I'm in conversation with A-Finance in our hot seat segment tonight. Sanjay Sharma, MD of A Finance, joining us here on the show tonight. Sanjay, talk to us about what your business does, how you empower small businesses, what you can tell our viewers.
Sunanda, that's a good question because there's been a huge impact to the micro enterprises because of the COVID. On one side, there is a supply side problem that they are not able to find the market itself and produce the goods, and also the demand side problem where the market itself for their products is shrunk. So I think in this scenario, a lot has to be done to take care of the micro enterprises. iFinance, where I lead the organization, works on micro enterprise or micro scaled enterprises, and these are unorganized companies. And I think the solution for them uh, has to be slightly different from the solution for the organized sector, even starting from small. So for the unorganized sector, its first thing that one has to do is to make sure that they have funds available, and that we are working on, and to give them direction on how to stabilize their businesses, how to use the available funds in better access to markets. So we're working on both of these areas.
2021, financially, personally, professionally, what was it like for you?
Sure. I think 2021 has been a difficult year for everyone, and that's a well known fact. But I think we have still managed, considering that we provide services to micro enterprises, and there was a lot of doom and gloom sort of forecasts. Considering that, I think we've done quite well because we have ensured that most of our customers have continued to pay and maintain good credit histories. And our NPA levels, which even before COVID were at a very low level, have only gone up to about 1.5 times that level. Now, how have we done that? We have obviously allowed customers all the benefits that the regulator or the government has made available to us. We've given them restructure where really needed. We have also given them guaranteed funds through the ECLGS programs, etc. So many things have been done, but in the end, we have been reasonably successful in stabilizing our customers. And I think 2021, we're quite happy that it has ended, and it has ended without any major damage to neither our portfolio nor our future of lending to these enterprises.
While all businesses, of course, have taken a huge hit because of the pandemic, MSMEs specifically have taken the worst hit. Your recommendation, how you see them really coming out of some of these challenges that they've seen, especially financially, some of the impact that they've seen. What would what thoughts could you give us on this?
The actions, I did mention some on the financial side, but there are non-financial actions also we have taken. So on the financial side, we have allowed them a 20% extra funding, which is there is a government program for ECLGS, which allows that. So we have made that available, and it helps a lot to these customers because they have to, in a way, prime the business pump and get back to producing and selling to their supply chain. So that is one big activity. We have restructured some of those loans where customer will take some time to start repaying loans, and it allows them to only pay interest for the next 6 or 9 months. We've also looked at wherever in certain sectors where there's a deeper distress, we've allowed some leeway there. For example, we find that in manufacturing there is a larger stress, so we have allowed some leeway there. So those are the financial inputs, but also non-financial inputs. We have a not-for-profit entity called Fame, which has been used to provide these customers the direction and the knowledge of how to overcome this challenge, how to make things go through digital processes. So whether it is digital payment process or looking at e-commerce sites, etc. It's also helping them to improve the way they manage their business so that they see higher profitability, which is definitely the need of the hour. So we've done both on financial intervention as well as non-financial intervention with our customers to tide them through.
When it comes to government support, I'm curious to understand your thoughts on, we've seen an extension of the credit guarantee scheme, of course, we've seen an increase in the cap, but all of these measures, do you feel it is enough? Or are you of the opinion perhaps that more should be done by the government when it comes to small businesses and entrepreneurs?
See, I think it's a mixed bag in a way, because government has done something. It's not that the government has been completely away from helping the MSMEs, especially the micro and the small. So a guaranteed credit line, which I talked of, 20% is a start. They've allowed in some states they have allowed some leeway on payment of electricity dues, etc., to these organizations. So they have tried their efforts in making these facilities available to the micro and small enterprises. Can more be done, or could more have been done? Yes, I think more should have been done, and was expected. In many of the countries which have large micro and small enterprises, there have been government direct cash help in terms of giving them actual cash in their hands to help uh, start back their businesses, which in India has not really happened. But there's been support. Besides that, there's been support on providing funds, reducing interest costs, guaranteeing so that guaranteeing the credit outcomes, so that banks and NBFCs can continue to lend. All that has been made to happen. At the very bottom of the pyramid, the providing of support for food, etc., also has been there. My answer would be that yes, more could have been done, and it would have been nice to have some cash support directly in the hands of the micro and small enterprises. But the government has done its bit, has opened its purse strings in terms of trying to make some of the funds flow into these sectors.
So, what's your advice then? Speaking of advice by the government, I want to get your advice for small businesses, even as we're staring at a likely third wave. What would you like to tell them?
Yeah, I think the advice to micro enterprises which are in the unorganized sector and to the organized sector is obviously different. For the micro enterprises which are unorganized, the important thing is to preserve cash and improve their efficiency. Uh, when you say conserve cash, it is by looking at all available means, not only business wise, but also taking care of their family expenses, seeing where they can get some savings out of their current cash flows, because managing cash flows is important. And there, if they can get some additional funding from organization like ours, or from Mudra, or anywhere else, it will help. The second is that how to make them more efficient. Now, one would love to have thought that they would move immediately into digital platform, because digital offers a lot of efficiency. But for these customers, it's a big challenge because of lack of skill and lack of confidence that they can manage that supply chain. So that will take time. It will happen, but it will take some. I would think that it will take some years. But for the organized sector, the job should be to get as much of their supply chain onto digital as possible, get their payments into digital, because that is the need. That was the need during the last wave of COVID. And if there is a third wave and there are lockdowns, that is what will make sure that their businesses continue to generate the cash flows and will not lock down the business. So I think the immediate need is to help the organized sector get more of their process digital on the digital platform, or remote platforms. On the micro, it is to make sure that the cash flows are sound. They do not go under because of lack of cash, and they are given some direction on how to revive their supply chains, how to build efficiencies into their processes.
All right. Good having you here on the show. Completely out of time on this episode of Leaders of Tomorrow. If you have any feedback for us, do let us know. Our contact details are on your screens as we speak. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.